Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Plasma, and I like final bosses. Today is the grand finale. This is the biggest elevator we're going to build for now. 12 by 12 hits the 12 block limit for slime and honey blocks. If you want to see even bigger elevators, you're going to have to like some of the big videos. People seem to want more small elevators. The next elevators we're going to build are smaller and more flexible shapes. We're going to do all kinds of things. Going to do some round ones, going to do some rectangular ones, maybe even some U-shaped ones. We'll see what we do. All of these are going to be added to a playlist, so be sure to check it out. I'll go ahead and put it in the description. Let's get started on a 12 by 12. So let's dissect a 12 by 12. We'll start with a piston elevator. We're going to add a shoulder on the top. It's actually going to be on the back of it, directly on the back. It'll use 8 blocks to put these two pistons here. And we're going to do something very similar to what we did with the 11 by 11, almost like a 8 octopus. It's going to look like this. You're going to have a wing on either side that holds 4 pistons. And then the key part of a 12 by 12 is going to be this ring. Let's take a closer look. So you'll see that we have these rows of 3 on either side. They're going to be right up in there, and it's going to be covering these 3. It'll do it on each side. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And then, like the 11 by 11, I mean, you go over here and look at it. We had the 2 that we fit in. Well, this time we're going to need to do 3 so that we can have 12. And so it's going to be this simple. We're just going to need to have one of them in 1 block forward. And for ease, my suggestion is that you put the left one forward. We're going to do a trick so that we can reach in and deal with this one right here. This observer right here is going to be over top of the blocks, and that's going to be almost a problem, and we want to use a double piston extender. And so I will show you how to do that on your bottom trigger. But I'll give you one more look at it. It's going to be pretty straightforward. And let's go ahead and get started on building a 12 by 12. Okay, so we'll start with putting down our regular piston elevator, like this, and then we will put on the back of it, like so. And it doesn't matter where you put those 2 slime blocks, it just matters that you have a pair right here. We're going to put a piston here, and some observers underneath. Make sure they point down like this. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to reach out with these arms like this. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. And this is going to be where you put your pistons. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we will put observers on them. Let's put one right here, and one right here. And we'll put observer over here too. And you don't have to break those, just whatever's easiest to put your piston or your observer so it's facing the right way. So next is the top layer, and in order to do that, we are going to put 2 blocks on each of these, like so. On the sides, they're going to be like this. So we're going to have observers underneath here. Make sure you get rid of any blocks you put down that you don't want. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. You can actually do it like this if you like. Oh, just kidding, because you have to put it right here. So you'd want to put them right here like this. And this just goes to show that with practice you can actually find more clever ways to put them down more quickly if you know what you're doing. And these are going to reach, one of them is going to reach forward. So this one's going to reach forward like this, and the other one is not going to reach forward. And so there you go. I'm going to put one here, here and here, and here, here, and here. Piston, piston, piston. We'll do the same thing on the other side. This one will come forward. This one will not come forward, so that they don't touch each other. And then it's as simple as adding these on. And observers are not too expensive in survival. They use a little bit of nether quartz, but other than that, so there you have it. And so we could almost test this if we wanted. Let's go ahead and put on some slime blocks first before we do that. So we're going to come all the way forward, and we're going to put our 6 block back here. And now you can just go back and forth. Wax on, wax off. Slime on, honey on. Slime on, honey on. And then we'll go and do the same thing on the other side. Make sure you have 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slime on, honey on. Leave comments below if you want to see a different kind of elevator. I haven't decided which elevators I'm going to prioritize next. I've got a number of different things I can show you. There'll be some fun sizes, but I am not sure. Do you like round ones? Do you want to see rectangular ones? L shapes, U shapes? You name it, we're going to do it. All right, so now if we wanted to test this, we will put, and to be smart, if you're ever going to test something, don't shoot it off into the sky. In fact, I'm actually going to show you what happens when you forget. Today, I'm going to show you what you can do, especially if you're in creative mode and you forget. There's not much you can do in survival, but if you forget in creative mode, there is an option. So what we're going to do is I'm going to prime the whole thing. That's right. I hope you like buttons because we're going to take a minute. We've got 24 of these to do. Is that all of them? Yes, that's all of them. And then we're going to do the next layer. And remember, you can't do this once you put the decor blocks on top because it'll cause it to get caught. So you want to test it with just the slime blocks until you're ready to actually use it. Then you can put the last blocks on. So now it's ready to go. And now we hit this one and it'll go upward forever. Now it would break if I didn't stop all these at the same time. So that's a problem. So what are we going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ahead of it. We're going to get ahead of it and stop it like so. Let's go up to 150, shall we say. You just want to have a good lead on it so it can't catch up with you. And so if you ever make this mistake, you can do this. And then I'll want to block off on the other side. We need to stop all of the slime blocks and honey blocks at the same exact time to prevent having problems. And so if you ever want to catch yourself, you can always just build upward. Moving on, because that worked. I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch me break blocks. Let's actually start with the hardest one. So the hardest one is we would do this, but we can't because there's a block here. So we would need to actually use a double piston extender. And we're going to do that right here. So to safely use a double piston extender on this, oh, you're actually going to need one sticky piston as well. What we're going to do, we're going to put this sticky piston right here, and then we're going to lay 2 observers on top of it, like so. And that'll be how you do yours. So now let's do the rest of them, and I actually go ahead and use 2 observers for each one, just so that our ticks are the same. It's a clean way of doing your redstone to make sure they all fire at the same time. And so we will do the same thing here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and like that. And so that's going to all fire at the same time. And you can even test it because I showed you the button trick to fix it when your top ends up offset. And so we will go and do that right now. Doop, 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 doop. And we'll see that these are down. We'll put a button to knock these ones down. And now you can see And the only difference is that this one's not going to pull this down. That's only going to be a problem if we're not doing anything else afterward. And so because normally we're firing the other ones, this doesn't actually matter. So that's actually totally fine. So now let's go ahead and start building the rest. You don't want to get too close with these. And so we're going to put these right here. And we do not want to feed redstone into this slime block because we might be powering these pistons over here and causing problems. And so while we're going to run redstone dust across like so, my recommendation to you is go ahead and put a bunch of extra redstone dust right there. That keeps it from pointing into that block. Now once we're done with this, we're going to do the third layer. I'm going to go ahead and wait, but what we're going to do is we're going to come down and we're going to put one that points into a piston right here. And so let's go ahead and feed this around. And this one you don't have a lot of wiggle room on. And what I mean by that is that the number of redstone dust you need to get to the back here is going to be, give or take, 14. And so you're out of redstone dust when you get all the way over to here. So just be aware in mind to count your redstone dust and make sure you didn't go over and that it actually reaches to this last one. So we're going to have dust on these three, all the way around. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And because we're getting so close to being out, we need to put a repeater right here. Now we actually need to wait 2 ticks. And what I'm going to do is, because I want to feed this down into a piston right here, and here's where we're going to do the third layer. Because I want to do a piston somewhere over here, like so, we are going to need to connect it. We can't put a repeater here or we wouldn't be able to pull redstone from this block. And so because of that, because this one needs to be 3 more ticks, what we're actually going to do is we're only going to put one of these ticks here. And so we need to wait 2 ticks for everything. So that's 1 tick, 2 tick, and then we're actually going to add a 4th tick on this one. So that's 1 and 1 makes 2 for all of these, plus 3 here, and then we add another one because this tick was back here. So this one didn't apply to it because this one was forward. And so we're actually going to do 4 on that one. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not too difficult to understand. And we're going to do, and what I do is I actually have my pistons like this. I'll do my repeater like this, 3 more ticks, and we're actually going to lower this by 1 block so that it can pull from that block. It won't affect any of your other components. It'll just allow it to reach that piston. We're going to do the same thing on the other side over here. And so we'll have a block right here that's got 3 ticks on it. And we can leave some redstone dust like that, and that'll be it. All right. So now let's clean up the ones that are not down. All right. We're going to do this one, this one, this one. One more. And now they're all down. Now we should be ready to wire it up and do the 4th layer. Technically, that's the 2nd layer. So this is going to be, next we're going to do these 2, and then we'll kick it off. So now, let's lead from somewhere over here. And just to be sane, I like to lead in from this one. We're going to wait 3 ticks. And that's not enough time because that's how long we wait for these. So we're going to have to wait another 3 ticks when we get down here. So now we're on to the 3rd layer. And so we will put some redstone dust right here. And then be careful not to get too close to this. If you run redstone dust straight along this line, it will mess up your bottom and you'll have problems. And so what do we need? Between this and firing it, we need to wait another 3 ticks. I missed. There we go. And that should do it. Let's do a sanity check and look around. We see we're going to wait 3 ticks on this one, +1. We're going to wait 2 ticks before we do everything. We did not do 2 ticks right here. I also missed this entirely. So let's go ahead and put a piston facing this way. I want to put it facing like this. I'm stubborn. There we go. And we will put 3 ticks on this one. We're going to actually only do 1 tick afterward, and so we will wait 4 ticks. So that this has 2 and this has 3 plus 2, which is 4 plus 1 in this case. And so now we should be good to go. We've got all 4 of our, these are set to 3 ticks like we normally would do. These are actually set to 4 because of the reasons we just explained, but they should fire at the same time. We've got these. We've got our double piston extender. We don't need a block right here. It can actually power this because pistons are a block higher than they think they are. And then we should be able to fire it. So let's go ahead and give it a try, see if it works. As you can see, I moved it down. Ready? The reason that didn't work is because we missed one right here, so we need to put it here. But before we do that, because it actually functioned, you can actually just hit the button again, and generally it'll be alternate between 2 different states. And so now it's actually prepared to run again. And so now if we put this down, now it should work. There you go. Isn't that neat? We did a 12 by 12. So now, let's do the top. Now be sure to do something cool with the top of yours when you're done, especially with the bigger elevators, because there's so much you can do. So I'm going to put these on the sides. These are going to be what we grab it with. And that will cause it to be over 12 blocks so that it doesn't go upward anymore. We will pull them away with our 12 pistons. Which will grab them with our 12 torches, which receive a signal, you guessed it, from our 12 repeaters. Which receive a signal from our 12 redstone dust. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So these can be whatever block looks good with your elevator shaft, because it'll kind of blend in a little bit if you want it to. Could be any solid block that will be pulled by slime. So no terracotta, no obsidian, but anything else. And then we will put our 12 torches down. And then we will put down our repeaters. And then we'll connect it all together. So remember, you don't want to do this. Why not? Because slime blocks are going to find that as they come up and down. You need to have, that's where your blocks that enclose your elevator shaft are going to go anyway. Terracotta or whatever block you want to use. Glazed terracotta. And so that's 13 and 14, so we're running out already. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we want to do a little bit extra delay on these because these 4-stage ones, these elevators of this size, it takes a while for them to actually move the top layer. So we want to wait a little bit before we pull these back. And so I'm going to do this one just like I showed you in the last video. I'm not going to make it fancy, but we can have a hidden block that is being pushed by a piston, and that will give us the ability to say hello to it. This is the discrete way of doing it, where if you want it hidden, like we did on ours. So, see, I'll do it like this, where we're pushing a light source. I did a glowstone block in the last video. We're just going to use sandstone on this. It can be any block you want. And we want to, because we're running out of a signal right here, we want to go ahead and put another repeater down right here. So I would put it somewhere like this. And then we will come down. And that's it. You think it works? Let's go ahead and wire up a button. Remember, because this is a long ways, it's smarter to put a repeater in the middle and then feed from there. It's just easier. If you're good with redstone, do what you want. But if you're learning, it's better to be careful. So we will have a button like this time. And where's our top floor go? Our top floor goes around it. And so let's pick out a block that looks good with it. What if we are wealthy enough to have lapis around as our floor? I'm a big fan of lapis blocks. So we would have, this would be our floor around our elevator. You could also use blue concrete if you wanted to color. So what's going to happen is we're going to push this button, and then it's going to, after 9, 10 ticks, it's going to pull these back. But before that, at 1, and then this counts as 2 ticks, we're going to start moving down. And so it's going to move down, and then by the time we're getting ready to move this layer, then these will pull back, and it should move down. Ready? It works. All right. This might have been a long video because that's a lot of stuff to do. Oh, look, we messed it up. Let's go take a quick look. What did we do wrong? We came too close to it. This is where you got to be careful. And so if we wanted to fix it, it would be as simple as not doing that. And this is just to show you that mistakes happen and that paying attention is what will prevent disasters. And so now it's good to go. And now you shouldn't have any more problems because we moved this up out of the way. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment. Let me know what you want to see going forward. Very happy with this series. I'm going to do some smaller elevators next, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.